Hi, Bridging the Gap.
What's going on, family? It's Roger.
And Cheryl.
And we are back stateside.
Yep.
We got sidetracked a little bit with our trip to Ghana. And so much going on the continent that we're focused on right now. But we don't want to lose track of the reason for the conversation on this channel. It's bigger than just bridging the gap. It's bringing an understanding to why things are what they are racially in this country, and not just in this country, globally. It is a constant underlying theme of this planet is this black-white issue, right? So we don't want to leave that part of the discussion to focus on all the good things going on the continent, so we need to weave this back in a little bit. So we've pretty much showed you guys that I think we've proven that if they're teaching it in mass, it's not the truth. It's just not the truth, or at least it's not the full truth, right? So that could be from your taxes, to your food, to your medicines, to your religion. If they're teaching it in mass, it's to indoctrinate, it's not to educate. The Bible said, wide is the road, broad is the gate that leads to destruction, and there are many who will find it. And that other path is very difficult to find, that narrow gate, because it's not taught. It's not easily accessible. So we want to take a look at the black and white issue from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Because that's where it all starts. So I want you to take a look at this short video. It's about 2.5 minutes long. And we're going to have a discussion on the other side of it.
Jefferson may look European, but his Y chromosome tells a different story. It shows that what we look like may not really tell us where we come from. And it raises a question mark over the traditional image of Adam. For centuries, artists have depicted him like this, like a European. For many of us, this is Adam. Michelangelo's famous painting in the Vatican Sistine Chapel. He looks like a beautiful Italian who spends a lot of time in the gym. Did the common ancestor of all men really look like this? The story of Jefferson suggests he could have looked very different. Finally, Wells comes face to face with the man he's been searching for. A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without a skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, Bender's forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggests he looks something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I like the expression. He's got a very forceful look.
He's intent on something, maybe taking over the world. You begin to get perhaps an insight into why these guys won out and why this guy's our ancestor.
Jefferson may look European.
So I saw that little advertisement from National Geographic towards the end of 2019. And when I saw it, it made me, and I don't even know if that's originally when it was done or if it was done before that, but that's just when I came across it. When I saw it, it made me think back to a show I used to watch in my mid-20s on HBO. I forget the title of the show, but the guy's name was Michael Baden. He was a forensic pathologist who used to talk about, do dead bodies speak? He used to take bodies and the evidence off the bodies and solve murders from a dead body. One of the episodes of this show was they believed they had found the bones of King Tutankhamun, King Tut. And he went and did the forensic pathology on this and everything they did with Adam that they said they didn't have the skull. He had all of that information. And he came up with this depiction of a young man looked like he could live next door to you in the hood. And I remember thinking in my mid-20s, at that point I was waking up, but to see the visual of King Tut as a black man, as a young black boy at 18 years old, was kind of, took me back a little bit. This reminded me of that. My point is this. Why cover that up? You saw in that video, the guy talked about the images we have in our head of Adam. He looks like some handsome Italian cat who spends a lot of time in the gym. Question is, why cover that up? If King Tut was a black boy, a young black man, if Adam was a black man, what's the purpose in hiding that? Why would you cover that up? What's the point? If we want to understand the racial issues that exist on this planet right now, we got to ask those types of questions, because there's no reason to lie. Look, the only reason you lie about something is to cover something up. That's it. So if this is truly what King Tut and what Adam actually looked like, then there's no reason to lie about that.
Well, think about what people would be like. Just say people who look like that image of Adam, people that look like that image of King Tut you're talking about. Imagine if those people knew, okay, that they were the first humans and that they were kings, King Tut, okay? So if you got people that look like, do look like 50 Cent.
Really?
So if you have people that know that they're the original humans.
The original. Matter of fact, let's pause on that real quick. Let's pause it. Before we jump into a conversation, we want to show you what we're talking about when we say the original humans. We're saying Adam is a black man. At least what these white scientists said is Adam's a black man. A white forensic pathologist said that King Tut was a black boy. Let's go to just a simple Google search. We'll pull this up. So guys, as you'll see on the screen, this is another simple Google search. All I typed in was oldest human remains, meaning the oldest bones that they've ever found on this planet. The very first thing on the page is this. It says the oldest known evidence for anatomically modern humans as of 2017 are fossils found at Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, dated about 300,000 years old. I'm not going to worry too much about when they say these bones existed. What I do want you to focus on is that they're telling you that these 300,000-year-old bones were found in Morocco. Morocco is on the continent of Africa. That would be consistent. Matter of fact, the northern part of the African continent up around Egypt. So that would be consistent with King Tut being a black man. The oldest bones being found in Morocco. And then there is Adam. But there's another link on this page that I wanted to show you, just to give you two examples. Okay, so here's the second example. This is just down on that same Google search, about 2 or 3 links down. It says this 3.6 million year old fossil is the oldest, most complete human ancestors ever seen. After 20 years of slow, careful excavation, the world's most complete skeleton of an ancient human ancestor has just been revealed. It belongs to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, genus, whatever his name is, and it's 3.67 million years old. It is by far the most complete hominin skeleton globally, older than 1.5 years, and the oldest hominin skeleton ever found in South Africa. South Africa. So my question is, if Adam looks like the depictions we saw at the beginning of that first video, why are the oldest bones found on the continent of Africa? whether it's Morocco or South Africa, that's both on the continent. That is much more consistent with King Tut being black and Adam being black. So now let's go back to what you were saying, babe. You said if the people who look like Adam, who look like King Tut, if they knew that, what?
We wouldn't be in the position that we're in now. You can't, if you're going to try to oppress a people, you can't let the people know their true background, that they were kings or that they were the first human. You also can't let them know, and I don't know how many people know, that scientists have proven that people of African descent are the only 100% humans. So
I'm going to need you to elaborate.
they said that people of African descent are the only ones that have 100% human DNA. Other people have some Neanderthal in their DNA.
Everybody, except for
people of African descent.
Wow.
So we're the only 100% humans. The oldest humans.
So why change everything? Why depict Moses, Adam, and everybody else as white if they weren't? These are questions. We've got to be critical thinkers, folks, and that's not what they teach us in school. They teach us to regurgitate. What we're talking about here is being critical thinkers. Think about, why would you do that? I can't think of any good reason to do that. And typically you tell a lie to cover something. Could it possibly be that the narrative has to match our visual, since they claim that we are savages and beasts and that we're uncivilized
and inferior?
How do you carry out that narrative and tell people, but you were here before we were? That means we had to be survived in some way, shape, or form. Civilization had to start somewhere, and it wasn't with you. So when we look at racism today, whether it's America, around the globe, we know what the racist history has been on the continent with, the Berlin Conference and slavery, the Triangle Trade, and what's going on in the States and Europe and the Caribbean and all that other stuff. We know that stuff, but it's deeper than that. And it goes back further than that. You don't tell a lie unless there's something you're trying to cover up.
Yeah. You're fighting history, basically.
History is my friend Walter Cotton likes to call it, his story. It's his story. That don't make it the truth. And what they're teaching us about history is definitely a story, because it's absolutely not the truth. So here's what I want to say before we wrap this one up. And I'm probably going to end up saying this repeatedly as we go through this history. Folks, this is going to make some people upset. And that is not the intention to make some people upset, but the truth can cut you. And I'm okay with that. But when I say they, I'm not talking about everybody who does not look like us. What I'm talking about is those who have power. I told you in a couple of videos ago, the elite don't look at the poor white folks a whole lot different than they look at us. You're just a po, and I'm going to leave it at that, because my wife didn't like the word I used. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not talking about average, everyday white people. Some of them will fit the bill. Some of them won't. I know I have many friends who I don't believe fit the bill, and I know there's people who follow our channel who I don't believe fit the bill. What we're talking about is those who create the narrative. Those who have been telling this story so long that they've got the whole world indoctrinated with the foolishness. Why would they do that? It's all about power. I told you, this is not about color as much as it is power and resources. Resources. They need your human resources to capitalize on their financial resources. It's all about power, energy, and control. So the people who control the narrative are controlling that narrative for a reason. And most of us walking around out here regardless of your skin color, have any idea as to why they're doing that, which is why we're doing what we're doing. So going back to the beginning, we are going to now start taking a deeper look at the whole black-white issue from day one, from man one, from the oldest bones found on this planet anywhere, whether it's Morocco or South Africa, it's Africa. And those bones were black, and there ain't no disputing that. So why the lies? We'll pick it up in the next one. We're going to try to break this one off in bite-sized chunks because it's a lot of information and it's a lot to process, to wrap your mind around when you hear the truth and realize you've been lied to for so long. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up and we will be back soon. God bless you.
Bye.